couple of weeks ago, I talked about why some of you were kind of disappointed in the upcoming Galaxy S22 and S22 Ultra series of phones, and I'll leave a link for that in the description below. And interestingly, I figured that sentiment might have changed since then. I was kind of away this past week, hanging out with some tech YouTubers over in California, so I've been kind of out of the loop, so I decided to jump online and see what I saw. And wow, some of you are still really upset, and even more so, untrusting. You don't even trust Samsung anymore. And I think this is a problem Samsung needs to get their hands around, because this is kind of crazy. I watched a video this morning and looked in the comment section and was blown away by what people were saying about the upcoming Galaxy S22 and S22 Ultra. And we'll look at them together right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week. And today we're going to talk about how a lot of you are disappointed and maybe even distrusting of Samsung. It's getting kind of crazy. Let's get into the video. So we are super close to the release of the Samsung Galaxy S22. So close, in fact, that Samsung has already had a call with media to let them know all the details about the Galaxy S22 series of phones. It happened last week. Haven't heard anyone mention that, but it actually already happened. But you won't hear about it from these outlets because they're under NDA. They can't say anything until the day of the announcement. And another thing, Samsung does these weird things where as they're doing their announcement, they allow everyone and all the tech tubers to release their videos on it. So you don't even need to pay attention to the announcement because everyone has reviews. But I digress. As I was reading the comments to this video, which basically talked about how it's going to be hard to get an S22 Ultra if you want one because they're going to be in short supply, some of you thought this was kind of a marketing trick by Samsung. Now, to be clear, it really isn't, because the reality is chip shortages have been a thing now for quite a long time, including shipping issues that have been plaguing the States and many other places for, well, way too long. You wouldn't think a chip shortage would last as long as it has, but it has, and it continually will until someone figures this mess out. I mean, we are locked down still, and things are still kind of crazy out there, especially when it comes to hardware prices. As a matter of fact, things like cameras and even old GPUs can be sold at the prices that they were bought. This is really, we're getting into some crazy places right now. But for whatever reason, some of you are distrustful of Samsung and think that this shortage or whatever to make sure you buy them quickly is a ploy by Samsung. And while doesn't sound like a bad idea, it's not what's going on. Let's read some of the comments. What a wise move strategy from Samsung to increase pre-orders. Are they in such bad shape? Actually, Samsung is fearing bad sales, and that's the real reason. This is in reference to people saying, buy the Galaxy S22 Ultra fast if you want to get it. But Samsung didn't say this. They've been doing the same pre-order strategy for a long time where they give you a $50 credit and that sort of thing. So that's not different. What they're referring to is what's been said by a leaker on Twitter. So what does Samsung have to do with that? I mean, really nothing, unless you're implying that the leaker works for Samsung. And I don't necessarily think that that's the case, although it wouldn't be terribly surprising either. Companies use fake leaks for a lot of things. As a matter of fact, Google embraced this about a year or so ago as they started leaking their own information about the Galaxy Pixel 6. They just said, listen, if we can't control the leaks, we'll control the narrative. And these things have been happening for years across many companies, whether you know it or not. And take it from someone who worked in corporate for a long time, it happens a lot more than you think. But having said that, I don't think that's the case here. But other people feel still kind of distrustful. This one says, definitely not going to be scared into buying this phone early when they are overcharging and not focusing on improving the right things. I literally talked about this in a previous video. I'll make sure you leave a link in the description below. I mean, I talked about this. Like, this is not a super phone. Of course, they're not paying attention to the things that most people really need and want. It's really more of a marketing strategy behind the way Samsung really pays attention to like specs and things rather than quality of life improvements. And I mean, this is a Samsung fan saying this exact same thing, but there's more comments. Seems just like marketing. Samsung's expectation of selling 32 million units of the S22 lineup is 3 times higher than the sales of the S21s. That seems unlikely. I agree. I've mentioned this many times on this channel. This is not going to be the phone that's going to sell so many. I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's not a good phone. It's probably going to be a truly excellent phone and really a return, especially the Ultra, to the Note series of phones, which excites me as a former Note owner. But yeah, it's not going to sell that many. I mean, what's going on here? Again, Distrust from Samsung, very interesting. For the amount of money that Samsung phones have increased to, the year of production, and the cost versus sales, it's unfortunate that they have followed the trend of making it okay to stall deliveries. I want to be very clear. They are not trying to stall deliveries. This is a global wide situation. If they could get phones out faster to make more money, they would. It's not a good strategy to not make money. That's a strange comment. That might actually be a good piece of news, since the first samples will probably have again issues of overheating, maybe battery, etc. Now you're just assuming things are going to be wrong with the phone. That's kind of crazy. Again, more distrust from the viewership, the people who likely would be the first people in line to buy your phone. Why is that? Samsung has a problem here. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Leave me a comment below. But this is something Samsung has got to get behind. It's kind of interesting when you are really the leader in the Android space. You would figure that most people would be clamoring for your new phone, especially when it's basically the return of the Galaxy Note, one of the most beloved phones in your entire line. But that's not what's happening here. It seems like people are very distrustful of Samsung. What have they done to upset them? I can't tell you other than all the things I've said before. I'll leave some links in the description and here in the end screen for some of those videos so you can get caught up. And I gotta tell you, at the end of the day, I guess I don't really blame you. Maybe you should be distrustful. Maybe you should be distrustful of all companies, because at some point, they're really just out to make more money and not necessarily to make you happy. They're out to make the overall consumer happy, which may not have anything to do with what you want. Leave me a comment below. Check out this video right here. I think it'll answer some questions for you, and I'll see you next time. Peace and love.